Is President Trump on defense over the plunging and volatile economy? This story keeps kicking. America's largest companies are down, all of them in the market since the Trump tariff war began.
President Trump, a short time ago, telling Walmart that the company should, I'm quoting now, eat the cost.
When Walmart reported its quarterly earnings, and it warned that price increases were coming later this month and into June. Walmart's CFO, John David Rainey, told me that they just can't absorb all the price increase. They plan to absorb some of it, and they said they expect their suppliers to absorb some of those higher tariff costs.
What if I told you the very laws meant to protect American jobs might actually drive away America's biggest company?
It's kind of crazy. You don't hear of things like Walmart closing. Walmart.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's 2025, and just like that one app you deleted but keeps showing up again, some problems just won't stay gone. Today we're diving into one of the most jaw-dropping twists in the story of American trade policy. Once praised as a patriotic move to supercharge U.S. manufacturing, tariffs have quietly mutated into an economic time bomb. And believe it or not, they've nearly pushed giants like Walmart and now possibly even Amazon to the edge of quitting America altogether. Buckle up, because what started as a campaign promise has spiraled into a high-stakes showdown with billion-dollar consequences. Let's rewind the clock to when former President Donald Trump waged a full-on economic war using tariffs. The mission? Simple in theory: penalize imported goods, level the playing field for American companies, and bring back factory jobs. It sounded like a revival of the American dream. But what happened instead was more like a nightmare, dressed in red, white, and blue. These tariffs hit a wide range of goods: steel, aluminum, electronics, you name it. The ripple effect? Skyrocketing production costs across every industry. Take Walmart, the poster child for American retail. Built on razor-thin margins and cheap global imports, Walmart suddenly faced soaring costs, squeezing its entire business model. And now, here's the shocker, even Amazon, the world's largest online store, is reportedly entertaining the idea of stepping away from U.S. operations. Sounds insane, right? But here's the logic. Amazon thrives on global efficiency. It sources millions of items from countries where production is cheaper, especially China. But when tariffs slap those imports with 25%, 50%, or even higher penalties, Amazon has two ugly options: absorb the cost and shrink its profits, or pass it on to customers and lose its edge. It's a lose-lose, and that's where this speculation begins. Imagine Amazon saying, "Enough is enough," and pulling out. Picture headlines that read, "Amazon leaves America." Twitter would melt down, news anchors would hyperventilate, and in all likelihood, Trump would fire back on Truth Social with a full-caps tirade, calling Jeff Bezos everything from traitor to globalist. But while the internet laughs, the real world would reel. Let's break it down. First, small businesses would be crushed. Thousands depend on Amazon Marketplace for their income. If Amazon scales back in the US, those businesses are suddenly locked out of their main sales pipeline. Next, we consumers would feel the pain. Delivery times would stretch, prices would spike, and that last-minute birthday gift? Delayed. And the biggest bombshell? AWS, Amazon Web Services. It's the cloud computing backbone of everything from Netflix to your favorite banking app. If Amazon even thinks about relocating server operations, it's not just retail that suffers. It's the digital economy as a whole. So what's the lesson here? Simple slogans don't make smart strategy. In a world where supply chains stretch across oceans and businesses rely on international efficiency, economic nationalism can end up hurting the very people it's meant to help. If a company as massive, as embedded, and as American as Amazon even considers pulling out, it's not just a warning sign, it's a 5-alarm fire. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective on tariffs and trade wars, hit that like button, subscribe for more eye-opening content, and let us know in the comments. Do you think America's policies are pushing our biggest companies away? Until next time, stay sharp, stay informed, and maybe keep that Amazon Prime membership active, just in case. What if I told you that the very policies designed to make America stronger ended up pushing out one of its most iconic companies? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's 2025, And just like that annoying pop-up ad you thought was gone for good, some things have a way of returning louder and more disruptive than ever. Today, we're diving into one of the most controversial moves of the Trump administration, the tariffs. Once hailed as a brilliant maneuver to protect American industry, they've instead morphed into a massive economic migraine. And believe it or not, they've even pushed Walmart, yes, Walmart, to reconsider its presence in the U.S. economy. Buckle up, because this one's a wild ride through unintended consequences, economic misfires, and a whole lot of finger-pointing. Back when Donald Trump launched his tariff crusade, the idea sounded simple. Slap extra charges on imported goods to make American-made products more appealing. The promise? Revive domestic factories, create jobs, and put America first. Sounds good in theory, right? But here's the twist. Those tariffs, covering everything from steel and aluminum to washing machines and solar panels, didn't spark an industrial revolution. Instead, they lit a fire under cost sheets, making materials pricier and operations harder for American businesses. It wasn't the dawn of a manufacturing golden age. It was more like a bureaucratic thunderstorm, messy, chaotic, and impossible to ignore. Picture a small company making steel toolboxes. Suddenly, their steel costs 25% more overnight. They can either eat the cost, cutting into profits and wages, or raise prices and risk losing customers. Multiply that stress across thousands of businesses, and you've got a nation of frustrated entrepreneurs grappling with unpredictability and rising costs. Even the big guys weren't immune. Walmart, the low-price giant and a cornerstone of American consumer life, got hammered by tariffs. Their business model depends on cheap imports and razor-thin margins. With tariffs jacking up the cost of goods, those margins evaporated faster than you can say rollback. The situation escalated to the point where Walmart reportedly considered scaling down U.S. operations. Yes, the same Walmart that practically built the American retail landscape. Their reasoning? Tariffs made planning nearly impossible, and costs were climbing faster than revenues. For a company built on affordability, this wasn't just bad, it was existential. And how did Trump react to this economic earthquake? With calm and reflection? Of course not. Instead, he took to Truth Social with all-caps fury, accusing Walmart of betrayal, calling their CEO a globalist, and promising they'd come crawling back. No policy reevaluation, no introspection, just classic Trump-style deflection and bombast. But beyond the tweets, the potential consequences were anything but funny. Walmart employs millions, from cashiers and pharmacists to warehouse drivers and corporate staff. A mass withdrawal or scaling down would devastate local economies, flood unemployment offices, and leave towns without their economic anchors. Consumers, too, would pay the price. Literally, Walmart's exit would mean higher costs for everyday essentials. No more ultra-cheap groceries or affordable back-to-school shopping sprees. Other retailers simply can't match Walmart's pricing power, especially with tariffs still in play. It would act like a hidden tax, punishing the very people the policy was supposed to help. The bottom line? These tariffs didn't build the manufacturing empire that was promised. Instead of ushering in a golden age of American industry, what they actually achieved was widespread economic disruption. Tariffs are, at their core, a tax, one that doesn't just target foreign producers, but also affects the businesses and consumers who rely on the affordability and availability of imported goods. Walmart potentially leaving the U.S. wouldn't just be a boardroom decision. It would be an indictment of policies that ignored the downstream effects on employment, affordability, and economic stability. The phrase "trade wars are good and easy to win," once touted with bravado, has not aged well. In fact, it has aged like milk left out in the sun. The reality is far more complex and unforgiving. Trade wars disrupt, they divide, and they damage, often more so to the instigator than the intended target. Walmart's hypothetical exit becomes more than a headline. It transforms into a symbol of policy miscalculation, a monument to what happens when ideology trumps pragmatism. What was meant to be a strategic power play on the global stage has morphed into a cautionary tale of unintended consequences, one that threatens jobs, raises costs, and undermines the very economy it sought to protect. So what have we learned? That bold slogans don't always make for smart economics. That in a globalized economy, isolationist policies can backfire hard, and that sometimes the cost of being tough on trade is paid not by foreign competitors, but by your own people. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the tariff fallout? Until next time, stay informed. And maybe hold on to those receipts. You never know what policy might raise prices next.